Welcome back, Gothamites. Welcome back, fellow detectives. Yes, this is a very special episode of Gotham TV Podcast, episode 128, as we interview Cory Michael Smith, Drew Powell, David Mazouz, and Robin Lord Taylor, the cast members of Gotham, the hit show on Fox or E4, depending on where you live. And of course, it was a great interview and a great time to be had at Heroes Villains Fan Fest over the weekend that has just gone. I am one of your hosts and soon to be interviewers, John.
Yeah, and I'm your other host, Derek. Welcome back. Really good to have you with us for this podcast. Very quick interview that we had with 4 of the members of the cast that were over at Heroes Villain Fan Fest, because they left their desks fully queued up with wonderful fans of Gotham. We were getting signatures and selfies with them to come and talk to us for a couple of minutes. Sean Pertwee held the fort while the other 4 members of the cast came up and chatted with us about Gotham Season 4. So if you haven't finished Season 4, there are spoilers in here for 2 of the big moments of the season, really, I think. So hold on to this one until you've finished the season and come back to it and listen to it later. There's some really lovely moments, I think, in this interview. So press pause here and come back to us later after you've watched the full Season 4.
Yes, you have been warned. Spoiler alert.
And one other thing, there was a little bit of an issue recording our side of the interview, so we have re-recorded the interview questions from our side. So John's put in some of the questions after the interview happened, just so we can get a really good sounding audio, because you wouldn't be able to hear our questions if we didn't record it again. So hopefully you enjoy the interviews that we have for you.
Good to see you guys. Cheers.
First off, huge congratulations on the renewal for Season 5. It must have been a big relief for you guys.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not only because we want to keep telling the stories, but any show that has the end kind of ripped away from their grasp is real tragedy. So the fact that we can, attend to the show and make sure that we finish it with the respect that it's due as an entity, we're really stoked.
Excellent. So what was the night like itself? What was the feeling for you guys the night you found out about the renewal?
Well, I was FaceTiming with Sean Pertwee through most of the day, and texting with some people. We were just all really anxious because the clock was ticking, and we knew there were some backroom deals and stuff. I don't know what goes on with all them. It has to do with money and such, but which is outside of our grasp. But we were all pretty elated.
It has nothing to do with me, so I was happy for my buddies.
So I just wanted to ask, how much pressure do you feel, especially you, David, playing these massively iconic characters? Has it become these are the TV characters, or do you still feel the pressure from the comic book world?
I think there's a danger. There's a tendency, for me at least, to go towards that, to kind of forget the larger scope that I'm in, and to forget that this character has existed outside of myself for 75 years before I ever even thought about taking it on myself. And that's something that I think is really important to remind myself of, and I think it's dangerous to not remember that. This is why I love coming to these conventions, because you talk to fans and you hear things that you don't necessarily think of, that you don't necessarily know, and sometimes you hear a lot of the same thing, and you wouldn't have thought that. And it's good to know what people are thinking of the show and what people are doing. And one fan said that she never was a fan of Batman necessarily before the show, but then she started watching Gotham, and it didn't feel like the same stories being told over and over again, and it felt like a new, slightly outside of the canon universe, and that's why she liked it, because she didn't know what was going to happen, because Gotham has killed characters that are supposed to exist later on, and Gotham has made relationships that could never be possible with most of the comic book storylines. And so with that kind of unexpectedness, there is some liberties that we should take as actors, that we shouldn't follow a strict path that's kind of laid out in the comic books. But I also think it's important to be respectful of that, and also to keep in mind what we're eventually leading to, especially with my character, because I think it's always important to remember that this character will eventually, I think, become Batman, and I have to keep, I can never stray too far from that.
I've always thought of this as like a nature versus nurture kind of thing. There's a DNA to a character that you can start with, and then once the show kind of starts happening, the environment that you're in as a character and as an actor contributes to what happens to the character. And you can't, you have to allow yourself to be influenced by the environment that the writers and the creators are throwing at you. And so you're kind of growing in that. And so whatever becomes of it may not be, the version that everyone recognizes, or it may not even be someone's favorite, but it is the version that has very organically grown in this world that we've created, for better or worse. And and maybe, perhaps, people say, this actually is my favorite version, because the circumstances that these writers presented and the environment in which this person has grown has been so exciting. And, that's for anybody's taste and aesthetic or whatever.
Drew, did you know that Butch would become Solomon Grundy from the start?
I didn't. I did not.
Tricked you.
Yeah. Well, in season 2, so this is the truth. We were traveling right before season 2, and we went to McDonald's, which we don't do very much, but Leo wanted a Happy Meal, my son, and so they were giving, I think it was maybe the Batman animated series. They were promoting that, and so in his Happy Meal, he got a Solomon Grundy doll, and I thought, character that you can't kill. That sounds good. So as that season started, I'll never forget, we were shooting at that bank in the Bronx. I think we were maybe shooting the scene where the Red Hood gang comes and shoots off the statue of Oswald's mother's head. Oh, yeah. And Bruno was
on
there.
On a 95-degree day.
As always.
With no shade.
Yeah, exactly. And Bruno was there, and I said something like, Butch would be a perfect Solomon Grundy. And he kind of gave me this look and then never said anything and then never mentioned it again. So like another season and a half go by, and I got a call right before the end of season 3, and they said, well, the bad news is you're getting shot in the head. The good news is you're coming back as Solomon Grundy. So that was very exciting news to me, and it was really fun. I have to say, I didn't really appreciate what it meant to be in a canon character until that point. I mean, these guys, I was watching kind of them and how they approached it, and I thought they all did a great job of making it their own and respecting it, and so I wanted to do the same thing.
So, Robin, you and Drew started out in the world of Gotham together. You started out in the alleyway in the pilot episode, and then you've, spoilers, finished season 4 together in a final scene as you take Butch out of the world of Gotham. What's that feeling like for you guys to have that opening and closing of that storyline together?
Heartbreaking. Like, it just, I mentioned this on the panel as well, like, the hardest thing for me doing the job is killing off other actors, because, again, it's someone who has struggled for many years to just get a regular gig on anything, that I take that so seriously, and also someone who died in Walking Dead. I just don't take it lightly, and the fact that it's Drew, who's become like a brother to me, it was one of the most difficult days I've had, and I don't know.
Yeah, definitely understand that. When you see a script like that coming, Gotham is obviously full of twists and turns. When you guys see a script coming that has big spoilers in it and big twists in it, do you guys rush to be the first one to read the script and read the big spoiler, read the big moments that are coming for your characters?
Well, it's tough because they send out, what are they called?
Outlines.
Yeah, they send out outlines first, but they don't send them to us, so...
Right.
Certain department heads of certain departments will remain unnamed. Get them and we steal them. Right. So that we know what's going on. And then, and sometimes you read them early, sometimes you don't. Sometimes I won't read stuff until the actual script comes out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
I do this thing where I won't read the script until I read the last page. I always get the script and read the last page first, because I just love Gotham's cliffhangers. I think every week we have really good cliffhangers, and I love reading them first. and then I like seeing how the episode builds up to that moment.
So wait, did you read it happened toward the end of the episode, right?
Every episode.
Stabbing.
Yeah, read that
Alfred.
first.
So you read that first?
Yeah. every episode.
Gold.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that certainly colors the way you read the rest of the script.
Yeah.
Yeah,
get me to this point.
Exactly. I mean, just to finish with that first question, there is, I think, some nice symmetry to starting and ending with Robin. I mean, I'll never forget sitting in that Russian restaurant that was playing German, like kind of a Benny Hill type show with like techno Euro techno blaring in the, and it was free. It was like a March winter storm, so like it was like freezing cold, freezing rain. We're outside, and then this is where we were warming up, And I remember just like we were meeting each other, really. I mean, and getting to know. I met his husband Dickie that day, and Jada was there, and this poor guy that was getting hit over and over and landing in the puddle. Like, there was all this stuff happening. And there's a line from that scene that I love, which he says to Gordon. He's like, "How do you like Gotham so far?" And that was kind of that was kind of like, how do we like Gotham so far? We didn't know. And then you get to the end, and it was fitting that it was nice to have Robin there again. I mean, he's such a lovely guy, and I've had such great stuff. And I have no idea about this guy. I've never worked with him. But Cory and I have had some lovely stuff this year that I really loved, and I will never forget that scene. With Jessica and Robin and I. It was just. Look, you never want the job to end. It's going to eventually, but you don't want to be the first guy out, which I wasn't. But it's nice to go down with the ship. At the same time, I was able to leave with this like sense of closure. And all these people are like, well, maybe it'll be next season 5, and maybe that's true. It's Gotham, and that would be fine. But if not, I feel like it was a nice ending, and that we closed it off in a nice way. And Butch was, I think, the unexpected. Heart, not the heart, but a heart in this show that you didn't expect to kind of be this lover, and to have that moment with Tabitha and to finish it that way. And it's also, I think, great for Penguin. I've had a lot of people come up today to say, gosh, I hate that he did that, but I totally kind of get it, And
the thing I love most about the scene, I thought it was really beautiful, and I know that Drew and I this is what I wanted to do with the scene, and I think it reads, was that Penguin is sincerely mourning the loss of his friend. He didn't do it because of anything that Butch has done, or even seeing Butch as a threat to him. He did it only to punish Tabitha. And so, like, when he does it, the emotion there isn't the old, standard Penguin menace. It's a broken heart, and really ultimately that reflects the whole theme of the show, is about the loss of love and how Gotham City just drums it out of everybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well said.
I wanted to ask Robin, your Penguin is such an ambiguous villain that resonates so much with people. He's so broken, and it's so tragic to see his arc throughout the seasons. Mm-hmm. Did you feel that emotion when you approached the character?
Very much so, and it really started it started with the script, of course, because I knew that element was there. Like, there was something, knowing that he was, in the very first episode, and that moment I had with Jim Gordon on the pier at the beginning, I knew that there was an actual human being there, and a human being that there was something sympathetic about him, and I knew that I wanted to bring that out immediately. And again, it was there in the script. Also going back and doing research before we started filming, learning, the past of the Penguin, which I had no idea before the job. Learning that he was a bullied kid, he was an outsider. He experienced all of this pain at a very, very young age. And again, that's what Gotham has done to him. That's what's changed him. If that hadn't happened, he could have been a beautiful person. So sort of showing that duality has always been very important.
David, I want to ask you the final question, but it kind of incorporates everybody. The last time we spoke, you teased a moment at Wayne Manor when you worked with most of the cast, where you were playing future versions of the characters. Kind of like Bruce's favorite.
Oh, right, yeah. I hope you know what I'm talking about now.
Yeah, this was the exciting moment that you got to work most of the cast for the first time this season.
Yeah.
Where we had Jim with his mustache. We had a pretty comic accurate version of the Penguin. What was it like filming that scene together?
There was a live chicken.
Yeah.
There was a live chicken in Carmela's arms. Yeah. And it was so kind and gentle with that chicken. It was a beautiful thing to see.
Oh, man, I missed that.
Hallucinated.
Oh, my gosh.
It was really fun. Because we weren't just all together, we were in really fun costumes, and because it was a dream sequence, like, those are so much fun because we can just kind of do whatever we want. Like, you can just go as far out as you want, and I had a great time.
Who knew Bruce Wayne was psychic? I mean, you knew.
Yeah, I know.
You knew I'd be rocking that top hat. So
he's not only Batman; he's also a prophet.
Yes.
Makes you the greatest detective. Exactly. Awesome. Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it. All the best. Thanks so much.
I'm glad I got in.
As we said, a really quick one with the guys, but some really fun moments in there, John.
Really good.
Yeah, what's your favourite moment that was in there, John?
I think it's hearing about, how you balance producing your own TV character with the history of character development coming from the comics, and where you pitch that, how you use the comics as that kind of baseline, but then you really have to kind of see how you make it your own in that sense. I thought that was really, really interesting. And I think as well, just because with Drew Powell being such a good sport with Gotham TV podcast, I think it's really nice to hear him talk really fondly about his time on Gotham, and especially the big moment in season 4 between Robin Lord Taylor and Drew Powell, given that they started off together on Gotham, and ultimately there has been this big end between these two characters at the end of season 4. So I really like those aspects, and I think again, it's so generous and kind of them to give a few minutes out of their really hectic schedule at the FanFest to just provide some time where they respond to our questions, which was really, really nice.
Yeah, it's really sad to hear that Drew Powell thinks he's not coming back for the next season. Quite a definitive end at the end of season 4. But as he says himself, you never know what's going to happen in Gotham, and the scripts aren't written yet for season 5. So we never really know what's going to happen.
Exactly. And of course, we are never say never here on Gotham TV Podcast. And we do hope that there is a bit of Grundy swamp juice still left coursing through the veins of Drew Powell. So maybe, hopefully, he wasn't fully cured of Grundy at all and can bounce back to life.
Absolutely.
Or maybe Hugo Strange wants just to have another go at Drew Powell and really, test and experiment on him like he seems to want to do with the Riddler and with Leslie Tompkins as well.
Perhaps. Also, my favourite moment from the interview has to be Robin Lord Taylor's excitement at the memory of Donald Logue holding that chicken really, really nicely and protecting it like it was his best friend. It was an interesting moment on the show. I'd love to hear them reminisce about that. Also great to speak to Cory Michael Smith, a really intelligent guy. You can definitely tell that he's focusing in on the answers to the questions that you're asking, and really good to have him there. So good of the guys over here at Villainous FanFest as well to allow us to have that time. We know how busy the weekend is, so really nice of them to give some time to us to allow us to chat with the guys from Gotham.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll get to speak to the guys again in the future. We'll be back with another episode in the next couple of weeks, probably. We're still trying to decide, as we said last time, what exactly the episodes are going to be covering between now and when the show returns. There have been some rumours out there that the show won't return until March 18th of next year, 2019, which will be a Friday, so a bit of a weird one there. I'm not sure if I believe that rumour, because I don't believe it's actually moving off Thursdays. There's also a rumour that the show is going to be only 10 episodes, not 13. One of the cast did mention that to us over the weekend as well, but we think that might be a confusion between Pennyworth, the new show coming out that we'll be covering, which has been confirmed for a 10 episode pickup. Gotham, I don't think, has had a confirmation of how long it's going to be. It has been called an event show by Fox, which means it's going to be shorter than the 22 episodes we get per season, and they're working towards an end at the moment on that, but I'm not sure whether the confirmation is out there that it's going to be 10 episodes.
Yeah, absolutely. So it could be between 10 or 13 episodes of Gotham for 2019.
Exactly. Also, a really good panel at the weekend from the cast of Gotham, with Sean Pertwee included, up on stage in front of the audience at Heroes Villains FanFest, talking about dealing with the really high temperatures, wearing their outfits every day, and the really low temperatures other days, wearing exactly the same outfits. So not getting much of a break from the people behind the scenes to allow them to experience the extreme weather conditions that can sometimes be around in New York. I thought that was really good fun. They answered some great questions from the crowd, and Robin Lord Taylor particularly was giving a big shout out to the audience and the fans of Gotham for being the ones that got a Gotham season 5. He said everybody worked so hard for that, but especially the fans. So definitely wanted to point that out. He was very happy about the fact that the fans had all banded together and gotten the show renewed. Yeah,
so you should all give yourselves a hearty slap on the back and a round of applause, because the Gotham community is really, really tight, and I think that was shown again at the Heroes Villains FanFest in London. Some great cosplay from the Gotham community, and all coming together to embrace the cast that were there, embrace their panel, getting some really top quality photographs and selfies with the cast, really inventive, and really appreciated by the cast, the support that they have in the UK, Ireland, and the rest of Europe as well, with regards to support for the show Gotham. And I think they really, really appreciate that, especially that comes through on the Gotham panel from Robin Lord Taylor, as well as the rest of the cast as well, when opening up the panel. Yeah,
absolutely. One final bit of news before we close this episode out. The latest Gotham tie-in book by Jason Starr, who did the first Gotham novel. Second novel, Gotham City of Monsters, came out today, the 29th of May, in all good or evil bookshops or on a Kindle. You can pick it up and read through the storyline between Season 2 and Season 3, where Jim is hunting down the monsters created by Professor Strange in Indian Hill. So a nice little tie-in book there. I'm already about 3 chapters into it so far. Really enjoying it so far. It's nice to kind of go back in time to that time in Gotham. There's some interesting stories to tell. So if you need a Gotham fix, go out and get a copy of the book. Definitely worth reading. We may cover it in a future episode, John. What do you think?
Sounds like a good idea.
Excellent. Thanks so much for joining us, Gothamites. We had a great time again at Heroes Villains Fan Fest. Hopefully we'll be back again very soon.
And of course, please subscribe to the podcast, because sharing the podcast is sharing the love. You can head on over to GothamTVPodcast.com and go to our subscribe section, where you can pick your good or evil podcast catcher of choice. Subscribe, rate us, and leave a review. All subscribers are absolutely welcome.
You can also join us on Twitter at Gotham TV Podcast, or join us over in our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Gotham TV Podcast. We'll be chatting to you there.
We hope you enjoy the interview. And of course, if you were at Heroes Villains Fan Fest, then we really hope you enjoyed your time there. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.
Hey, this is Drew Powell. I play Butch Gilzean on Gotham, and you are listening to Gotham TV Podcast.